Hi, my name is Lydia Gutierrez, and I am the president of Hacienda Mexican Foods. So we started this business in a back room above El Zocalo restaurant, which is located right on Bagley in Detroit. And it started with a phone and in a van. And I was not an entrepreneur. I didn't think like an entrepreneur. I was simply the wife of the man who had a vision to grow a business. He began this journey, and then I met him, and we began this journey together. Detroit has influenced my business because we are Detroiters, right? And so, we're in a community that's much like us. I mean, we're Hispanic and we're in the Hispanic community. And that community has influenced us by continuing to purchase our products. And just our culture is part of the fabric of what we do and being in the city of Detroit. But, those of us that have been here, we've been the backbone of our community for a long time.
So Detroit, I was asking myself, it seemed more like chance than anything, because was it just that this is where we were living, this is where my mom and dad met, this is where our families were, so we had to start a tortilla shop here, of all places. What Hacienda is and what Hacienda's taught me is there's a lot more to business than making money. Making money is important, but really, it's about the community that you're in. So we would have left a big gap here, and so we serve that need.
Most of our employees that have been there, 10 years and up, we've got 70 employees. And so I think that speaks very highly about, what we do and how we do it in a neighborhood. I mean, we're right in a neighborhood across the street from a school. That's the kind of environment that we have. And I think that that's what allows us to continue to be successful, because you're only as successful as the people that you surround yourself with. And so I think that's when you look at our products and you look at what we do, that is part of it. It's not just myself, but it's a team of people that work together to create these really great products that we are able to sell. So welcome to Hacienda. When we're in our business, we like to say that mi casa es su casa. In just a minute, we're going to be walking into the manufacturing plant, and you're going to see a variety of machines. They're kind of loud, but we'll be manufacturing, and you'll be seeing how we make the tortilla chips and the tortillas. So come on in. I love the fact that I'm at the helm of a business that I've created, and that the culture within the business is a family business. I know every employee, I know them by name, I know who their family is, I know their children. I think that is so important to me, so I love that. I love the culture that we've created there at Hacienda. I also love the flexibility. I love to be able to take care of some of the things that I need to, as far as my family life.
One of the things that I really remember, though, was that my parents were always around. I was never at like a daycare or at someone's house being watched by someone else. So what would happen is, I'd wake up, we'd get ready for school, we'd go to school, and then from school we would get dropped off at the business. So I was always surrounded by my mom and dad. And I think that had like a real subconscious effect on my brother and I. It was just kind of like better that we always had them in our life.
My son now has just started his own business also. But some of the lessons that I want to teach my kids are determination. I want them to know the importance of not just running a business, but being an integral part of your community, being an integral part of changing people's lives. So it's not just, I'm going to come in and I'm going to work and I'm going to make money, but I'm also going to give back.
Donutville is a business that's been around since, 1976. It's this little donut shop in Southwest Detroit, serves donuts and coffee, which in a world of tacos and enchiladas and tamales is kind of a rare thing. So it's kind of like a community um, center there. The connection to Hacienda is that directly across the street is where my mom and dad started their tortilla shop. So the employees would come in, we start our shifts at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. They needed somewhere to get coffee. The donut shop opened at, I think, 6 o'clock in the morning. So after repeated efforts from our employees trying to get coffee from them at 4:30 when the baker's baking, they decided to change their hours to 4:30 in the morning. And so for the next 20 years, our employees were kind of their main driving force between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning, stopping there and getting coffee. It was so frequent, actually, that my mom had a coffee named after her, Coffee Lydia. So people could just walk in who didn't, who the cashiers didn't recognize and just say, "Can I get a coffee, Lydia?" And they would prepare the coffee knowing that it was going to the boss. So when I bought Donut Villa, it didn't really seem like something that was this like crazy idea. For a lot of people, especially 26-year-olds, you're out of school, you don't really have too much experience to take a huge risk like that and bet on yourself. It was very natural for me, and I learned, like I said, so many lessons from Hacienda that I wasn't fearful. They didn't raise us to be entrepreneurs. We kind of saw them in that light, but they never forced the idea on us. They just always wanted us to chase our dreams, and I think that's why they were probably working so hard, was to give us the ability to just do whatever it was that we wanted that made us happy. So they were working hard for us.
We love our community and wouldn't think of taking our business anyplace else.
The Garaje Cultural came to be, the building that it's in used to be a warehouse for us. And I remember listening to conversations between my mom and her friend Ismael Duran, who was one of the original founders of the Garaje, about this idea that they wanted to have a community center in our warehouse. And my jaw kind of dropped, and I'm like, wait a second, you want to turn this warehouse, which we could use for any other number of reasons to make money, you want to turn that into a community center that's actually going to cost us money. And I just remember raising that point, and they kind of just looked at me, and my mom said that that's not going to be a problem, that she was going to make it work.
We emptied it out of the warehouse, and we started a cultural center where we serve kids and youth in our community for 5 years. What we do there, we do after-school program, art, music, dance, and sometimes we have done theater, we have done radio, we have done many different programs for the kids. And it's focused especially in the Latino, Hispanic, and other families in here in Southwest Detroit. And Lydia, I know her for at least 20 years. I did have another cultural center in Southwest Detroit, and she brought her kids, in this case Michael and Gabriel, when they were young teenagers, to take some classes with me. And one day she came to me and said, I have this warehouse, I would like you to take a look at it. And since that day till today, the Cultural Garage doesn't pay, we have not paid no rent. We have a lease for $0 a year, and she paid the utilities and everything. And we had done about 12 murals in our community. Beside all the murals that you could see in our building, we have done many different, couple of them in one of Lydia's buildings right there in Vernon. Have you saw that one? The guy with the corn and the lady with the guitar? Well, we did all those murals together. So hoping that maybe in another 3, 4, 5 years, it's not gonna be any more warehouse. It's gonna be a place for events, for culture, for music, for people to gather in, So that's what we're working. That's our mission and plan for the future. And Lydia is the center of it.
So I started as the secretary, learning how to take orders and learning the different sizes of tortillas. The 6-inch, the 8-inch fajita, the 10-inch, and the killer 12-inch. And it was a bit confusing for me because I'm not Mexican. And in my house, we rarely even eat tortillas. I had a lot of catching up to do to learn the business, and Richard patiently taught me. Now, every entrepreneur needs a friend and a mentor, and he taught me everything I know. Early on, Richard and I were asked to participate in panel discussions, and often we were asked how it was that we worked together as husband and wife. And I would say, well, Richard carries the vision, and I implement his vision. And he would whisper to me and say, oh, but you have a vision too, honey. And I would say, oh, baby, I know that you love me, but I don't know what vision is. It was his experience and the part of that entrepreneurial DNA that he carried that was in his veins that gave him everything he needed to teach me to be an entrepreneur. And because of that, he actually saw more in me than I saw in myself.
I think that Detroit has a story that parallels Hacienda's very well. We had a period of really sustained growth. It was a great time in the company, and then that kind of vanished. And so we were in a really rock bottom place, and now just like Detroit has made a great comeback, so has Hacienda. So we're a much stronger, robust, and resilient company because of it.
So even when you do everything right, it doesn't always work as you plan, because you can't always prepare for the unexpected. Well, we were having growing pains, and Richard was having different kinds of pain, and he was battling his own health issues. He was diagnosed years earlier with hepatitis C, which is a cirrhosis of the liver. It was constant visits to the hospital, and it was a long and very difficult battle. What's interesting is that it never stopped him from, being the entrepreneur running his business. And many times when he was on the hospital bed, he would write me notes of things that he wanted done. And I can say that he was a true and a pure entrepreneur until the very end. And then October 21st, 2005, my mentor, my partner, the tortilla guru, the business extraordinaire, the father of my two children, lost his battle. And he was so entrepreneurial that I could never even imagine that we would lose him. About 2 weeks after I buried Richard, I returned to Hacienda, and it appeared that everything just stood still. Everything was silent. I was handed a group of messages. Most were people sending their condolences, and then others were people who were interested in buying the business. The employees, those great employees, my family of employees, they rallied around me, and they said that they would support me. They would teach me everything that they knew about the business, and they just wanted me to continue as the sole owner. And that same day, I felt as if Richard were telling me to continue in his absence, and that he would return shortly to see what I've accomplished.
I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed to come from the family that I have because of the dynamics within that family. We all have our ups and downs and our little arguments, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's just love. The way that my family supports each other is through unconditional love and understanding, and I don't think there's really any other or a better way to support someone. I've had lots of conversations with my mom over the years about how I feel about her as a professional, as a woman, as a mother, as a family leader, as a community leader. I can't really put into words everything. I just have to be grateful for the mother that I have, and that I'm so lucky to have been born into this family. I think I just want to tell her that I'm very proud of her and that I love her very much.
But I wouldn't be in business today if I didn't have the support of my community and the support of my family. And so I just want to thank you, and thanks for being a part of my journey and part of my success. And without you, we wouldn't be here. So I'm just wishing you the best and want to thank you. Muchas gracias. Que Dios los bendiga y adelante.